Post-fight reflection. So it's currently Monday, and the time is, let me check here, it's 8:30 in the evening. Now, we had a fight on Saturday, and this video is just going to be a wee bit of reflection on the fight camp, the fight as a whole, and what's next for us with our boxing, with our life, with our whole objectives, and the next phase that we're moving into. Now, the fight as a whole, so we probably started this fight camp halfway through January, and the fight was on the 30th of May. At the start of the year, we had some big goals planned out. We were meant to have a fight in February, but that fight fell through. So the transition of the fight camp from the first original fight was building into the cancellation and into the second fight that we had lined up anyway. But we also had a Rome Marathon. Now, I can't remember the date, but it was at the start of the year anyway. And yeah, we had a lot of goals planned out for the start of the year. Now, at the start of January, around about the 6th or the 5th, my mum actually gets sectioned into hospital. Our mental health hit a quite bad turn. And this caused me initial stress, right, and a setback for sure, because at the end of the day, that is a huge motivation for me, and it's one of the main reasons that I do what I do today, and it's one of the main reasons I have this fuel, this determination and fire to build a better life, but also take action each and every day, and just to be the best that I possibly can be as well. As men, it's important that we have motivations and we understand the power of certain motivations to take us closer to our goals, and just to help us take major action and minor action when we do not feel like doing it. So when that happened, I was knocked off and I wasn't myself for about 2 or 3 weeks, right? In hindsight, that's not a long time, but in those 2 or 3 weeks, it was quite challenging to bring my mind back into somewhat of a balance and have a clearer mind. Obviously, we had a lot of stress after the 2 weeks, but it took around about 2 weeks to get back into some sort of normality and routine. And obviously, we found out the fight cancelled as well. And then, yeah, we had our marathon booked. So, yeah, we headed out to Rome, we got a marathon done. Then we got a call saying we had a fight on the 30th of May, and we were training hard for that. We were getting ready, and I was excited to fight because my last fight was December the 14th or 15th, so there's a 5 months or 4 month gap in between it. Now, fighting as a whole for me, I love it. I do. I love the training, the routine, the discipline, the focus, and also the commitment that you need to have. You cannot pretend. You really do need to train. You need to put in the miles. You need to make sure you're down on your nutrition. You need to make sure that you are checking your environment, your circle. Do you have the right people around you so your energy is not affected? You need to be invested with your team, your coaches, and you also need to make sure you're operating this. Now, I might not be the most talented boxer, right? Even though I'm extremely dedicated. I get into boxing at 20, so I've had a late start, and I'm currently 25, so I've been 5 years dedicated to boxing. But one thing that I do have is commitment, is discipline. Now, when I say I've been boxing for 5 years, I mean I've been boxing for 5 years. I've not been doing it for 2 years and fell out of routine with it, and I've slacked on my training. I've really been non-stop for 5 years, and I've been able to watch my growth and my own development, and also make a lot of mistakes and learn on job as well. But for me, coming from nothing, right, coming from a tough upbringing, a challenging upbringing, a lot of doubt, anxiety, and not really sure what I wanted to do with my future, to now be able to have the courage, the boldness, the strength to fight, right, and stand up for myself, but also be in physical shape that is up here, and to really live and breathe action, and to not just be a man who talks. The message I try and promote on this channel, at least, and on my Instagram, on my social media, and just as I go about my day-to-day business, is to be a man of action, because there's a lot of men, in fact, most men are underperforming in life, whether that be with their personal development, their relationships, their business, or whatever. But majority of it is definitely their personal development, is they're not showing up for themselves. They're bang average. They're not able to be who they want to be because they're held back by old condition, old paradigms, and they don't have the courage to step out and to change their life. Now, with the message that we are promoting over here, we want you to be the best that you possibly can be. We want you to have courage, to develop confidence, to put yourself out there. But to do that, you need to develop your body, your mindset, and you need to make sure you're in the best physical shape that you possibly can be. Now, that's why I would recommend fighting, because at the end of the day, you're in there to test yourself, right? You're in there to learn, you're in there to develop. You have to be consistent when it comes to your training, and you'll be around strong men, right, that are there to develop their combat, and that are there just to be their best. And when you step through the ropes or into the cage to fight for your first fight, you'll fall in love with it, and your life will change, and you'll never look back. Now, for me, I'm always going to make sure that I'm involved in combat sports because my passion is extremely high. And yeah, it's just something that I love to do. And it's a mixture of emotions, but when you operate your mindset at a higher level, you can control what it is that you feel, and you can control how you feel when you go into the ring. The fight we just had there, my main focus for this fight was to be relaxed, to be loose, to flow, and to box how I wanted to box. To box in my rhythm, and to make sure that I was controlling the fight and not falling into my opponent's style. And we went out there and we performed, and we done that. Now, of course, there's a lot that we can still work on, improve, because that's what life's about. But the objective was complete. We went in there, we were loose, we were light on our feet, we were throwing out our jab, we were throwing our right hand a bit more. We landed the opponent with a good right hand. We had him wobbled in the first round, and he got a standing count. And overall, the performance was a lot more successful than our last fight that we won in December. Our last fight were a lot more stiffer. It was hard to get going. It was hard to get the jab out, and it was hard to be loose. Now, for me, when I'm loose and I'm relaxed, then I'm a much more dangerous boxer. But to get to that loose and relaxed state, especially on a fight night, it takes a lot of work with your mindset. And for me, I'm still learning as well. But before every fight, I want my own space. I stay in a very balanced and neutral mindset, and I focus on the things that got me here today. I focus and build my own motivation and that fight mentality that I need for the fight. But I like silence. I don't put in any music. If I do put on music, it's maybe 20 minutes before I go out. We play meditation music. We calm our mind right down, because when I'm calm, I'm a better boxer. That works for me. That might not work for you, but for me, in boxing, you need to be calm, because if you go in that ring and you're tense, then you're not going to be able to flow. You're not going to be able to read your opponent. You're not going to be able to jab. You're not going to be able to execute the punches that you truly want to execute. And when you have a calm mind, you can follow the game plan a lot better. So positive steps there from the fight. A lot to take away from. We could have threw the jab a lot more. We could have threw the right hand a lot more. And we could have controlled the ring a lot better as well. But we're still learning. We're still on job. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Not criticising yourself out of negativity, but criticising yourself in a way that you're analysing yourself so you can come back as a stronger competitor. And that's a good way to do it. And obviously we have the coaches there as well to go over the fight, and yeah, just kind of review it and reflect, which we'll do for this week. Now, after the fight we had there, we also had a post-fight plan. Now, after each fight, so I've had 16 fights now, right? And something I find very challenging is after a fight, I go into complete chaos, right? And I find it very hard to get back into routine, back into training, have energy for business, for life, and it can last about 3 or 4 weeks. Now, obviously, having some time off training is good, but what I used to do in the past is I would have the fight, finish the fight, go into complete chaos for me, eat way too much. 2 days will turn into a week will turn into 2 weeks, and so on. I would find it very hard to get back into routine of my training, and I would take the foot off my gas with my business, and my energy would not be where I wanted it to be. So I had a post-fight plan created for this fight for the first time ever, and it meant when I came back home, there was no extra stimulants, right? It was just calmness, right? It was putting on calm music, it was having a relaxing evening, it was having my food already planned that I wanted to have, and it was also having a day where I'm going to get back into training. Now we're having a light week of training this week, but I'm going to get into the gym twice, lift some weights, but not really any plan to it or any heavy lifting, but just to get the body moving. We also planned to go out for dinner on the Sunday, and we've done that as well. So it meant that I was able to enjoy a meal and not just eat anything that I seen in sight. One thing after fight two, I find it very hard to sleep just because the whole buzz of the fight. Again, the brain's sensitive to the stimulants of it all, and also after a fight, you've obviously your body's sore and stuff like that as well. So I didn't get to bed until 9 a.m. on the Sunday morning, which is hard, which is difficult, but we managed to get some hours sleep, and then once we woke up I headed out for a meal in the evening, which I've not done before. So the fact that I was able to do that shows progress on the post fight, because although we have the fight, we also have the fight camp, the lead up to the fight, and also the post fight. And for me, it's about finding the right approach for all of them so I can come back into consistency and back into routine, so I can get back to training, and also just back into the flow state that I was speaking about. Because when we're in flow state, we are much more creative, we have more energy, we feel better, but we also can enjoy ourselves when we need to enjoy ourselves and be more present in the moment, you know. So yeah, that's just a wee bit of reflection on the fight that we had on the 30th of May. We got our hand raised, we won again, and I'm looking forward to the next fight, and I cannot wait until we have the dates lined up and we're back into training camp. But for now, it's about locking in on my business, taking a week off from intense training, and we'll be back into training next Monday, which I think is the 6th of June or something along those lines, and then we're straight back to it. We've been training non-stop since January. We had maybe a week off after our last fight in December, and yeah, it's important to make sure you're recharging and you are putting your energy into different things. So for me, for this up and coming week, it's about putting more energy into my family, seeing my mum, my business, and when it's time to get back involved with boxing, then we'll push boxing up the priority list as well. As a man, it's important that you're adaptable and you can adapt, and you're not so rigid with your plans, because if you're rigid and the plan does not go the way that you expect it to go, then how do you perform under that sort of pressure, you know? So yeah, that was post-fight reflection. And if you want me to do more videos like this, just let me know and comment in the comments section below. I'm going to be dropping a lot more boxing content over the coming few months, and also our usual content, speaking on life experience and stuff that men potentially go through, or things that men just need to hear. But yeah, that's what the channel's about: growth and development, and helping men champion this era of their life. And yeah, we definitely dropping more episodes on the road to becoming a pro boxer. Episode 7 will be out soon, and I'll see you all in the next clip.